Next question for all candidates. The city of Vallejo has filed bankruptcy and is seeking to nullify not only its labor contracts, but the pensions previously negotiated. Do you view bankruptcy as a tool, something to be avoided at all costs, or is there some middle ground where it is appropriate?
I think it is a tool. Nobody wants to see a city file for bankruptcy, but sometimes you have to remind people, hey, we can negotiate our way through this and not have to go to that end. I think in many circumstances it can be used to remind people that it's an option. It may be one that we don't necessarily want to look at, but it is an option. And that's to remind people also that there's more than one form of bankruptcy. There's restructuring and things of that nature that can be given and used under bankruptcy laws.
Well, I don't think that bankruptcy is a viable financial plan. I think that if you use bankruptcy, it's just going into something saying, well, we can always have bankruptcy. It's going to affect your credit and people wanting to help you out or loan you money. And even in a situation in which you file for bankruptcy, there's no guarantee that you're going to get out of your contracts.
I don't think that trying to manipulate our public servants, particularly firemen and our policemen, with the threat of bankruptcy is a good policy to adopt. I don't think that trying to put the city in a situation where bankruptcy is on the horizon is a good public policy. And I think that wise financial decisions to avoid that prospect are much better of a policy than one where we threaten bankruptcy to void contracts of the hard-working people of this city.
I got more to add on that. I think a good point has been brought up that it should be something to be avoided. But I think another thing that anybody that's worked with government in any of its forms realize that government contracts are a one-way contract. For the most part, governments can always come out of their contracts, but the other parties generally cannot. Anybody that's worked with governments realizes this as a reality. Nobody would want to see bankruptcy, nobody would want to file bankruptcy, but unfortunately with the way things are going, it could happen. We want to try and avoid it from happening and negotiate in good faith to make sure it doesn't happen.
And just a quick response, I don't agree with that at all. I retired from working for the government, and I don't expect the government to try and bankrupt out my pension. I earned it, I worked for it, and I earned it in good faith. And I don't think the government has any more right to try and bankrupt out its employees, whether they're current or retired. They don't get to walk away from contracts just because they're the government. Things are entered into in good faith, and we rely on that, and we should be able to rely on that. And as a government official, I will ensure that the contracts we make are stood behind.